Hi everyone, my name is Junon. I have a health science background and I'm the author of the book Truth and Empathy: How to Find Your Soulmate. In this video, we're going to be talking about the concept of peace. Obviously, peace is on many people's minds because um, war is so prevalent on Earth. And I would strongly encourage people again to check the work by David R. Hawkins because he has a different take on the cause of war. He says that you cannot create peace. Peace is the consequence of truth prevailing, which means that if people lie, you're almost guaranteed of creating war. And how this is linked to, let's say, relationships, romantic relationships, and even in terms of the book I've written, Truth and Empathy, is that I wrote the book Truth and Empathy because I wanted to bring to light um, the importance of truth and empathy to determine a person's level of awareness. So, as a person's level of awareness increases, they are able to perceive a more subtle reality. First, it's a physical reality, like things that you can, see with your, eyes and you can hear with, your ears. So it has to do with the five senses. Then you move on to a more abstract thought. So, but this abstract thought, which is intellect, has to do with objects. So maybe the person's really good in math or science. Someone like Einstein is a example of someone who has who focuses on abstract thought, but has to do with more inanimate objects. And then you move to another reality, which has to do with the spiritual truth, which has to do with the essence of a thing or someone, and it has to do with the vibration that they give off, so their level of awareness. So the book Truth and Empathy really focuses on that in the sense that if you want to know who someone is, you need to know the level of truth they're functioning at, or they can understand and perceive, and their level of empathy. So whether they're right brain dominant or left brain dominant. So essentially, someone who is at the level of peace function as a high level of truth and also a high level of empathy. And how does that translate? So, how do you know someone is at that level? Is that, first of all, um, when it comes to their brain of dominance, you're looking at the level of theta. So, we're looking at sages. So, someone like, let's say, Buddha or Jesus, someone like, let's say, even Mother Teresa. So, these are levels of spiritual evolution that the brain now is silent. So per person brainwave is 5 cycles per second or less, and the person's resting breathing rate matches. So they breathe 5 times per minute, through the nose. So it's not mouth breathing, and that's constant. So at that level, the person's nervous system, first of all, has to be able to tolerate that very high energy, is very calm. And in other videos, I will talk about the importance of breathing to a sense of well being. So, at that level, the person's mind is silent. And when a person is at the level of peace, uh, they function at the level of absolute truth. Any, let's say, fact or any behavior that is not aligned with absolute truth will really bother this person. Uh, Whereas with most other individuals on this planet, well, they lie here and there, the white lies, it doesn't, have much of an impact. But at the level of peace, we're looking at absolute truth. Obviously, there are not a lot of people who function at that level. David Hawkins talks about 1 in 10 million. So if you say, "Oh, I know someone who's very peaceful," well, you're probably talking about someone maybe who's pleasant, someone who's nice, but a person at the level of peace is extremely rare. So obviously, you're not going to bump into Buddha and Jesus, by going to the grocery store. So again, when you think about it, is that if a person has to have that brainwave dominance and also has to be right brain dominance. So, interesting enough, I know that how often when we talk about someone who's strong, it has to do with a masculine energy, but really, feminine energy is higher when it comes to the level of spiritual evolution than masculine energy. So at the level of peace is basically the person not only has a peaceful mind, but also has a strong positive effect on others. So if, let's say, someone is in their vicinity, this person can silence another person's mind and also can heal pretty much any disease. So it's very rare to have any illness, mental, physical, and be at the level of peace. So the person is immune to addictions, can heal others from addiction, and also can bring them a sense of peace within minutes. So the likelihood, again, for this to happen is very rare. David Hawkins says that most people, when they reach that level of peace, just stop breathing and leave their bodies. So again, it is something that is extremely rare. The average person won't come across that. To be in a relationship with someone who's at the level of peace probably won't happen. Uh, but I think it's important to point that out. So, in a sense, if people want to create peace on earth, they first have to be truthful. You cannot lie and believe that this lie will not create war down the road. And with this high level of truth, also, there's a high level of empathy that has to match. So you have to care about another person's well being. And when you think about it, is that whenever there's a conflict on this earth, like I guess if there's a war, it it boils down to someone's lying and someone lacks empathy for another person. So I wanted to really discuss this topic because I think they use the word, thinking that everybody knows what it means. But I think that it's important to look at the concept of peace from a spiritual lens and to realize that it's no accident that there's war, throughout the mankind's history. But first, that war starts in the person's mind because they're not peaceful, and this inner war is sort of brought outwards in their relationships at work and also in other interactions that ends up creating issues for everyone. So I trust that this information was interesting, eye-opening. If you enjoyed it, please click on the like button, subscribe to my channel, and we will talk soon. Take care.